Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and this is a breakdown of the Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 3, Chapter 11, The Heiress. An episode that will make you hate Quarrens even more, but, spoiler warning for the episode, make you love Clone Wars even more for the live-action arrival of BO-KATAN KRYZE. And someone finally telling Din Djarin, no, dude, you're the weird one. Take off your damn helmet and stop drinking that Kool-Aid. Oh, and be sure to check out WikiLeaks if you haven't already. I couldn't be there this week, but Tommy and Philip seem to have it all under control. In this video, I'm gonna break down all the interesting Easter eggs, Star Wars references, hidden visual details, all the stuff that you might have missed. You know the drill. Oh, and yes, I am wearing our custom This Is The Way shirt. It is available at newrockstarsmerch.com. If you buy it for a few bucks more, you can write in a custom shout out in our WikiLeaks episodes. What an opportunity. All right, spoiler warning for the episode. Let's get started. Okay, the opening shot of the episode is the opening shot of the Season 2 trailer. The battered Razor Crest drifting past the gas giant Cole Ivan toward the estuary moon Trask. Now the Aurebesh on Mando's screen translates to stabilizer error, and then moments later, landing gear offline, setting up this close call rapid descent to the Trask harbor zone. I love how this descent kind of sets up the key plot device of the final act of the episode, where those Mandalorians use the Imperial freighter needing to clear the harbor zone first in order to hijack it before its rapid ascent, an ascent that is reversed to another rapid descent into the populated harbor zone after Moff Gideon orders it to crash. Mando drops some in-universe profanity.
Tank Ferric. The landing array isn't responding.
Yeah, that same swear comes up later from Costco Reeves.
He's one of them.
Tank Ferric.
And both are a callback to the moment the Mythrol said this in the series pilot episode.
Tank Ferric, that was close!
And there's some more great production design details from the show. As they burn up during the atmosphere entry, condensation drops from the bulkhead, showing how this process is less of the, typical clean space travel we always see in the Star Wars universe, and instead more like what the early NASA Apollo missions went through during their re-entry. And you can also see how this extreme heat causes the water in the Frog Lady's canister to begin to boil, though we don't have to worry, she did soak those things in a hot spring. I also appreciated how that proximity alert on Mando's landing uses the same sound effect from other ships we've seen in Star Wars when they get a lock on a target. But the crazier, most insane detail is the Aurebesh here. This is why I always try to translate it. These letters translate to the words, "Of course I still love you," which is an interesting sci-fi reference to a name of one of the two sentient ships in Ian M. Banks, the player of games from the Culture novels. The other ship's name was Just Read the Instructions. Elon Musk also named his SpaceX drone ships as a reference to these as well. So I'm thinking here maybe the Mandalorian series crew might have named the ship contacting Mando this as a similar kind of reference. But before I get to that, I want to thank Vessi Shoes for sponsoring this breakdown. Look, there are two things we can all agree on. Nobody wants anything bad to happen to Baby Yoda ever, and nobody likes wet feet. It's just those two. Lucky for us, Vessi makes these great knit sneakers that are 100% waterproof and weatherproof. They are super breathable too, with an antimicrobial insole, so your feet smell as good as they look. I presume. I haven't been looking at your feet. Vessi shoes are super stretchy. They fit like a sock. They only weigh 175 grams, which is insanely light considering they are stronger than Cara Dune in an arm wrestling match. They're also made with the space-age Dynamax material, so these are shoes that you can wear every day no matter the weather. They're also sustainably made and super easy to clean. Whether you're herding nerfs, farming moisture, or just running around town in winter weather, Vessi's will keep your feet warm and dry and looking great.
Oh, I wish I could still swim in the shoe. Oh no. My shoe got in the pool water, but wait a minute. My toes are so dry thanks to these Vessi knit sneakers. La, 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 la.
They also have an incredible early Black Friday offer going on right now. So go grab yourself a pair for the rainy season while they still have sizes, and you can thank me later. Check them out in the link below. And if you miss a Black Friday sale, use my code NEWROCKSTARS to get $25 off your Vessi shoes. Now, the crane that dredges the Razor Crest from the water looks like a retrofitted AT-AT or AT-AT. Both are okay, so let's leave it at that. But what I love about this one being used this way is that Lucasfilm's art team originally intentionally designed these for The Empire Strikes Back by taking inspiration from the massive port cranes in Oakland. So in a way, these are kind of coming full circle with their original function. On Trask are aquatic beings, the Quarrens, and the Mon Calamari, like our old pal Admiral Akbar.
It's a trap!
Both are native to the ocean world Mon Cala, aka Doc, and they've never really gotten along. They did actually have a civil war during the Clone Wars era, but Anakin Skywalker was able to broker a truce between them. Now, a little detail in the pub I love is how Quarrens season their food. After Pelimoto preferring her meat medium rare, it's just fun to see another example of culinary preferences. These kind of choices have been what Jon Favreau was referring to when Dave Filoni said things like a dime a dozen don't exist in the Star Wars universe. And Mando pays the pub owner with some squishy flan currency, which we also saw back in the first episode of the series. And then from Baby Yoda's chowder, a squid latches onto his face, Xenomorph facehugger style. Another example of the alien motif we saw a lot of last episode. Now, the Quarren boat that they take out looks like a retrofitted Hammerhead-class corvette, the one another famous Mon Calamari, Admiral Raddus, used to knock disabled Imperial Star Destroyers into each other during the Battle of Scarif in Rogue One. But those dirty trickster Quarrens trap Mando by feeding Baby Yoda to a Mama Core. This, I think, is a new beast in the Star Wars universe, but it's interesting to note that Mando's jetpack seems to work underwater, apparently. But Mando gets saved by Dank Theric BO-KATAN KRYZE, played by Katee Sackhoff, and Axe Woves, played by Simon Cassianides from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and Casca Reeves, WWE star Sasha Banks. Now, Bo-Katan is a hugely important character in the Star Wars animated series, Clone Wars, and Rebels. She was once a member of the Death Watch, but she left that group after Maul took over the group and then used them to steal the Mandalorian throne. Bo-Katan's sister is Duchess Satine, former ruler of Mandalore and one-time love interest to Obi-Wan Kenobi. Hello there. Chronologically, we last saw Bo-Katan in Star Wars Rebels. She was wielding the ancient Mandalorian sword of the Darksaber and using it to unite the Mandalorian people. But most recently in our time, we saw her in Clone Wars Season 7 right after Ahsoka helped her retake Mandalore, but right as Order 66 was about to go out. It is so cool to see these Night Owls fight. Ludwig Göransson's Sith percussion is so intense, and the three of them move so fluidly in sync, just as Bo-Katan's animated version from Clone Wars does. But what I like about it is it's an interesting contrast to the way Mando fights. He has a more defensive, I'll just let anyone hit me approach, because he is a loner and he is learning how to be part of a tribe now. Bo-Katan's helmet and armor are painted with these owl markings, just like they are in the animated series. You can also see it on their shoulder patches. These are for the Night Owl group. This is a group she formed after leaving the Death Watch.
And you are a child of the Watch.
Yeah, Bo-Katan is reminding us that Mando was actually saved by that previous group of hers, the Watch, thus their three-pronged scratchy sigil that we saw in that flashback. And Bo-Katan gives us some much-needed clarity about why Mando was so strict about never removing his helmet. Yes, not all Mandalorians are this strict, but it's just his group is a kind of cult of zealots that broke away from Mandalorian society to rebuild after the Purge using strict ancient traditions to do so. And when they free Baby Yoda from the Mama Core, his carrier is dented. I've always found it interesting that that carrier is designed to look like an egg. A bit of ironic justice for that little fatso eating all the eggs last episode. Now his egg gets swallowed. Now later, Bo-Katan declares her objective.
We're seizing those weapons and using them to retake our homeworld. Once we've done that, we'll seat any Mandalore on the throne.
That planet is cursed. Anyone who goes there dies. Once the Empire knew they couldn't control it, they made sure no one else could either.
Don't believe everything you hear.
Interesting. So apparently the Empire has been using propaganda to try to scare Mandalorians from trying to return to their home world, which does connect with how Moff Gideon used that war crime tragedy term, the Night of a Thousand Tears. But as a leader of the Mandalorian resistance, Bo-Katan obviously sees that defeat as totally reversible. Now they plot to hijack this Imperial Gozanti freighter, a ship that we have seen in the animated series and briefly in the background of Mos Espa when Qui-Gon and the others arrived in Phantom Menace. Mando leaves Baby Yoda with the adorable frog couple whose eggs now begin to hatch into tadpoles, meaning they have been fertilized from the night before. Nice. On the Imperial freighter, the siren is the same that we've heard on Imperial craters since Empire. Love that they brought that back. And it is captained by this Imperial commander, based on his insignia, played by Titus Welliver, aka the Man in Black from Lost. Love this guy. And if you look closely on the bridge display, the Aurebesh translates to breach. I do love how these stormtroopers report that there are 10 pirates, maybe more, when, yeah, the pilot just reads that the thermal scans verify there are only 4 of them. Idiots. Comedy actor Kevin Dorff cameos as the Imperial officer who locks them in the cargo control area area, allowing the Mandalorians to blow them out the cargo door. Now, Bo-Katan says to the bridge,
Put some tea on. We'll be up in a minute.
this is some example of some consistent universe details. Like in Clone Wars, tea is a big thing to the people of Mandalore. Like Pre Vizsla drinks it with Maul, and Pre Vizsla was voiced by Jon Favreau.
Time for tea. Come join me.
Bo-Katan was with the Death Watch at the time, and Dave Filoni produced all this, so all this episode is like a big reunion. That's why we fans are really loving it. Now, Bo-Katan aims specifically to get the Darksaber back. This is, of course, the sacred Mandalorian sword that dates way back to ancient times. This tells us that Moff Gideon must have taken the saber during the Purge, but the fact that she wasn't certain that he took it suggests that she didn't lose the saber in a duel with him face to face, but that maybe he snatched it away while she was elsewhere during that fight. But Moff Gideon orders the officer to crash the freighter, saying,
"Long live the Empire."
Interesting. So it sounds like this Imperial group are as insanely committed zealots to their lost cause of the Empire as Mando's tribe is to his way. Now, we know after the Empire collapsed that Palpatine issued what was called Operation Cinder, a scorched earth plan to take down a ton of planets in the galaxy along with the Empire. That could have been part of what Gideon did with the Purge of Mandalore, but this group seems to be more forward-looking. They got some plans. They want the child. They're doing something. Could be clone-related, could be connected with the Empire's secret plot to resurrect Palpatine and rebuild the Sith fleet that we see a generation later in The Rise of Skywalker. Though, I gotta say, I hope not. I kinda want to forget that happened. But actor Titus Welliver's so great. When he gets that suicide order, notice what he does. He takes a subtle gulp as if he is sucking out his suicide pill in that moment. And then later, when he bites down on it, it fries his jaw with electricity. An interesting visual parallel with the way the Emperor's Sith lightning sizzled Vader's teeth when he threw him over the ledge. And Ahsoka finally reveals to us that Mando can find Ahsoka Tano, who's probably going to appear next episode, played by Rosario Dawson. And I love how I don't think we have seen any of that footage in any promo footage or trailer. She apparently is on the forest planet Corvus in the city of Caladan, which, as far as I can tell, are new locations in the Star Wars universe. And then Mando leaves Bo-Katan by echoing her "This is a way," telling it back to her, a sign that this guy might have finally moved a bit in his stubbornness and his dogma, closer toward a place of religious tolerance. And I love how that final image leaves a tiny little piece of that poorly repaired Razor Crest behind, almost as if to say Mando's character shell is starting to wither away to reveal the beautiful human soul underneath. That is all I noticed in the episode. Again, you can help support this channel and get yourself some great apparel and accessories at newrockstarsmerch.com. Check it out. Subscribe to New Rockstars, hit that notification button. Follow me at EA Voss. Follow New Rockstars. See you next time. I have spoken.